Grateful to you, Beth. Spirit moved you to call me, and here we are, and at the end of it all, I know why. And Andy, my new best friend. Thank you for being my chauffeur. But most of all, thank you for giving us the words that everybody needed to restore everything, bring us all back to center. We were moved to receive it too. Cardinal John Henry Newman said many years ago, to live in this world, you have to change. I think that word now has already been said at least 5 times this morning, Beth just said it. But to live in this world well, you have to change often. Every time you go to a Mary Kay event, or every time I went to a Mary Kay event, and you're always moved to some kind of tears because someone tells some kind of a story that strikes your heart, maybe comes close to home, maybe more your story. But if you learn to receive those messages and think, I can't just internalize them, I have to use them as a lesson to alter my life for the better. And when you come into something like Mary Kay, and it was for me, there's no mystery about it, it was all about the money. Buy something for $1, sell it for $2. We needed the money. Your family needs the money. It's no mystery. If you say you're here for a good time, then we know that you're here for the short haul, because eventually the truth has to come forward. You have to make this pay. It is a retail business. It is meant to bring prosperity to your family. All of those things, that's the truths of the operation. But can you receive love along the way? Can you receive friendship? Can you receive renewal? I mean, everything that we've experienced this weekend reinforces that there's many gifts that come from just that simple decision to say yes. When you start doing the things that you're supposed to do in the right way, and every time you come to one of these, you're going to hear someone, and I'm sure each of you can attest to that, someone will say something, even one thing, that'll give you a vehicle, a new road to run on. And eventually all those messages, all those quotations, all those wise advices will bring you to a place of fullness where you'll be able to pass it on. Andy said, this is not a dress rehearsal. And you can't keep hearing wonderful speakers, and you can't keep talking about Mary Kay Ash like she was some saint. She gave us a gift, but she really was just a cute little great-grandmother trying to do a good thing for women because she had been so compromised in the workplace for over 25 years. Can you imagine? She started her business at the age of 45. Started this company. So there's no age factor here that says it's too late for me, or I wish I'd been at the beginning, or I wish I was younger, or I wish I didn't have so much responsibility. You got to stop wishing for all the things that are not going to change, because you are who you are and where you are and why you are. And you're meant to take the you that you are and become the best you that you can be. This is a relationship-building business. Mary Kay's wisest words were, help enough other people get what they want out of life, and you'll be rewarded in the process. You'll get everything that you're supposed to have, and then some. And it's truly a blessing. So when you're out to do the marketplace, and this is where change takes place, this is where you have to answer to yourself before you go to bed tonight. What are the things that have been holding me back? You can't go from being a 2-year consultant to a millionaire today. That's probably going to take more time than is allowed. But you can decide how you're going to take the next step. You can realize that I need to give myself a promotion. Time has been spoken about from this stage many times in 48 hours. And time is getting away from us. Eric used to always say that. We all have the same 24 golden hours in every day, and how you choose to utilize them to a good end will go a long way in deciding when you're going to get payment, when you're going to be paid back for a job well done. There is nothing wrong about speaking about the money that there is to be earned here. Unfortunately, in this life, money is a yardstick by which the rest of the world measures us. When we talk about wonderful people like Bill Gates, thank goodness that many of our multi-billionaires do good deeds with their money. There are many, many more greedy people that just ought to keep it for me, keep it for me, keep it for me. When you choose to give your time away, your knowledge, your experience, when you grow up to be Cheryl Warfield and Beth Piland, someone who has learned from experience, walked the walk, not just talking, but they've walked every journey of it, then it's a gift to the world to say, I have to give it back. When someone asks me to do something, and it's about Mary Kay, I'm usually called to say yes if there's no other conflict. So when we talk about change and what you're going to decide, we're going to pretend like this is a seminar year, even though it's October. Well, it's only one quarter down. And you need to know how you're going to arrive. And there's two things that you need to focus on. Your financial goals. How much money does your family really, really need to have this quarter, this year? If you're in a debt situation, it's like the sin thing. Get yourself cleansed. Make a decision that you're going to change the course of what's holding you back. And I promise you that household debt, especially excessive, is an anchor. It's an anchor around your leg. It is so hard to go out and say, I'm really doing so well at this, when you haven't made a plan to liquidate the things or cut the cord of bondage that's holding you back financially. Decide that that's got to be fixed. I have worked with some amazing women. It's just like going on a big diet. And once you decide that that's the change I have to get rid of in order to be an influence, you can't talk about prosperity and how well you're doing if you're hiding something in the back closet that you know is eating away at you at night. Does that make sense to you? I'm sure it doesn't happen to anybody here, but you can at least pass this message on. Because that's what this world has brought us to. It's too much excess, too much greed, too much pleasure in the wrong ways, and too much expense over things of no value. People say, how'd you afford to go to all those places? How'd you get the money to start traveling and going that far? It's like, I was getting good checks. My good checks came from my core business, laying a strong foundation, building solid people, running retail businesses throughout the New England area, proud of what they were doing and wouldn't leave for anything. I've got 30 and 40-year veterans galore that still operate up there. And when you have a strong foundation and the money continues to pay because it was being paid to you for all the right reasons, the retailing of all of this product, then you already have some money when an opportunity comes along, whether it's 5 hours up the road or a 10-hour plane trip around the world. The money's already been provided because you did the base work early on that keeps paying, and it comes back just like an annuity. When you build enough people that are solidly linked to the Mary Kay principles and the fact that you can buy something for $1 and sell it for $2, and don't just do it 1 hour a week, don't just do it 1 hour a day. Figure out a way to do it is make the most that you possibly can every day, and you will not need another job. You will simply not even worry about figuring out other income that you can have, because you can do so much more with this one. So I don't know what change you need to make, but every seminar year, I had to decide there was going to be a step up. I had to decide to fix the things that were holding me back. You don't have to speak about them out loud, but you know what they are. And even if it's insecurities, like you make it, all of us make it sound like it's so easy to speak to a stranger, to book someone, to go beyond yourself. And it's not easy. But when you decide to stop waffling between one leg on the right and one leg on the left, and okay, I'm going to do it today, and then the left leg pulls you back, it's like, get hold of yourself. Get a hold of yourself and stop doing the things that you've been repeating like a gerbil in a cage, because you will not have the promotion you want to have until you make a decision. It's the greatest gift that we give women in Mary Kay is the ability to solve their own problems and make decisions that they can live with. We speak about there's no coincidences in life. It's been really testified this weekend that a lot of what seems like a miracle is a God thing. When I had finished my 10 people and I was ready to get a plane to go to Dallas to learn how to do this business, and the only person I had met in Mary Kay Cosmetics even knew was my recruiter. And I can remember one thread of advice that she said to me, even before I started working with the 10, to get the 10. But I had made a commitment to her that I was going to go forward. You convinced me that directorship was the place to be, and God knows the money looked good on paper. So I was committed to her, to take her training and her wisdom to go forward. And very quietly she asked, and I'll never forget it, she asked me on the phone, just have to ask you one thing, and you're a busy person, you've already said that, you're involved in the community and stuff. How much are you willing to put aside? What can you think of that you're willing to give up in order to free up the time to make this work? That was so huge. It was so huge. It was like, why do I have to do that? I'm already doing a little bit of all of it. But I try to listen really well when somebody older than me and wiser than me says something. So I said, well, if you say that's what I'll have to do, then I'll just have to do it. And within a day, I started calling every organization that I was a member of, because I'm not a member of anything. I'm a runner of things. So committee head and president of. And I said, I hate to call you girls, but I want to tell you that I'm going to have to pull out of the club, or pull out of the committee, or get off the board. It's like, why? What? They thought I was ill. And I said, because I'm going back to work full time. Those were the words that the Spirit moved me to say. Carolyn didn't tell me to say it. They just came out of nowhere. I'm going back to work full time. I didn't even know what that meant. Literally. I'd had 3 classes, remember? But somehow I knew she was a devoted, committed, full, operational Mary Kay person. And so my colleagues, my friends were saying, work? Do what? What are you going to do? And I said, I'm giving time to Mary Kay Cosmetics. I said, well, you do that now. I said, no, actually I don't. I've just been having fun with it now. But I've made a commitment that I'm going to work full time. And I won't have time to build it. And when I get this done, I promise you I'll be back. I'm certainly not giving up on the projects, whatever all we had going. And I literally walked away that very day from every organization, every commitment that I had, to give 200% to something that I wanted a return that was as big as I thought she did have. I want you to think about that. And I'm not asking you to do something you don't want to do. But if you require change in your life, and if there are things that either hold you back emotionally, or blinding you mentally, or maybe your time factors are so chopped up that you're doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of the other, and trying to get fixed and get ready to get started and balance all those balls in the air, and you want to make $1 million, I'm just going to tell you, but I'm just tell you for the truth, it ain't going to work. We ain't going to work. And Mary Kay convinced me of that. 24 golden hours, we all have the same. And as soon as, and you can't get one. You have families, you have husbands, you have children, you have grandchildren, and those are the ones you're the most responsible for. But when you recruit these people, or offer them the job, the opportunity, and they say yes, and I can remember when I said yes to Carolyn, it's like that, she's it. She's the one, she's my ticket, she's my pathway. Looks good, looks like the part, want to look like her, want to be like her, want to act like her. So it's going to take total commitment to her to keep feeding me in, keep training me more, keep giving me knowledge. And then I stumbled before I fell, before I could rise. And then that day came. It was my first God thing. That's what I'm bringing up. This finally got to the point. I had my 10. I'm going to go to Dallas for 1 week of training. I have 3 children. 4, pushing 5. A year and 6 weeks. And I decided to stop by the doctor's office, pediatrician's office, on the way, getting the groceries and getting the food in the house because my husband's going to stay home. And I thought, I think I'll just run in here and just get them to take a look at the baby in case they want to change his formula, because I decided to stay an extra week down there and have time with my parents. The doctor said, well, we'll look him over while you're here. Went back in the room and stripped him down and did all that, and he said, this baby's got to go to the hospital. And I said, no, schedule. And he said, no, this baby needs to go to the hospital now, and I'm going to call a surgeon, and he needs to be operated on. I said, I'm like, you must be really exaggerating. He said, we maybe have 12 hours. Now, this goes back 50 years. So I must tell you, it was not a disease. It's not life-threatening. It was a hernia, but it was fixing to burst. He had discovered it when it was not visible. And he said gangrene would have set in, and it could have been lethal. Well, what do? You don't think twice. You drive straight to where you're supposed to be, the hospital. He literally called a surgeon. That baby was operated on at 8 o'clock that night, 3 hours after I'm catching a plane the next day for this big week. There's no place for me to be. I, of course, called my husband and said, you're going to meet me at Manchester Hospital. And I spent the rest of the evening in the chapel at that place, and I'm saying, I don't know if this is a block that you're telling me something, but for crying out loud, let this message be clear. Because if I wasn't supposed to go through with this, I sure wanted to know it now. I had gotten 10 people to be on this GO train, made a lot of promises, and the next morning when that doctor came in to check on me, I said, now, you don't know me, and I can't expect you to understand what I'm fixing to ask you. But I'm supposed to be on a plane today to go learn a career path that I have absolutely no knowledge about. And if I can't make that trip, I don't know when, if I'll have a second chance. And I didn't. I didn't know what the rules were. I didn't know what the company would expect. It's like you miss your trip, you miss your I didn't know. He was not looking at me with great fondness. And I said, but I am from Dallas, and I do have resources, and I can get this baby into the proper hands when we get there if you'll just consider what I'm asking you. It took about an hour before he got back to me. He said, well, if you really promise to get him in the hands of a pediatrician, I will sign him out. I'm telling you, I grabbed that poor child. He was wrapped up in swaddling clothes. He looked like it. And I'm heading out. The 3 nurses are chasing me. You can't take that baby out here. I said, you just watch me. I've been given the hand to go, so I ain't going. And I took those 3 children on that plane, 5, 1, and 6 weeks. Flew to Dallas. Asked my mother to take over so I could go to this week to learn something about why I had been called to be a part of this company. And meeting her on day 3 was the absolute turning point in my life, because I had thought to that point that I was just selling cosmetics. Go beyond yourself and don't question when an obstacle has been put in your way. You've been heard it all morning. You just pray for the answer and know that the Spirit will take you to where you're supposed to be. I was with a group of the girls last night. I told them a story about my first trip to Canada, very first one. And within 24 hours of being there to help Mary Kay say, welcome to our world, and few recruits joined. We're not only in the middle of a snowstorm, but when my offspring and I got on the highway to drive on to the next guest night, as we promised to do too with her, a big Fruithof trailer blew up a snowbank and blew us off the highway and landed us right in the middle of the esplanade, which you call a median, in a snowbank, buried my car. Nobody stopped, nobody helped, nobody stopped, nobody helped. Finally, some trucker radioed. I'll make this short because it's not important, but it was important because it was the second time in my life that I'm going, am I out of my zone? Am I being challenged here? Why am I being stopped along? I'm supposed to be the guest speaker tonight. She was counting on me to be there to do her eye story. No cell phones, and we can reach people that long ago. Tow truck came, police said, we're taking you girls back to the nearest town. This storm is bad. You're hunkering down. We're towing your car. And we're going, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Took us in the wrong direction, back to a town, and signed us into a hotel. My offspring was just as strong as I. And we waited for those police to drive away. We looked at each other. We said, we might be late, but we can sure still make it. And we turned that highway and we drove right into that storm, and we finished the job. And the irony was, the God message was, if we weren't 40 miles going west, but when all of a sudden, the precipitation had stopped and the highways were clearing. You have to go when you know that you're moved to do something and there's an obstacle that gets in your way. You have to say, that's who I'm not the person today that I was yesterday. I'm meant to overcome these challenges, and I believe that I'm in the right place for the right reason, doing the right job, and my family's going to prosper from this. And if I let this thing stop me right now, and it wasn't the being stopped and not making the speech. It was learning to be stopped by the things that get in your way that are meant to be symbolic. Are you capable, willing, and able to overcome the next mountain, go around it, go through it, go under it, blast your way on to the success trip? Because it is not an easy journey. It's really not a hard one. It's just that success comes with a price tag. You're in this to be a success, not to work for somebody else. The gift you gave yourself was, I'm working for myself. I am independent. I'm a clear thinking, on the road, on the way to the top, business person, and my family will prosper because of all the efforts that I make today. And you're going to be challenged. And you're going to question. Is this a sign? Does this mean I'm not supposed to go on? In 1998, by now I've gotten used to these signs, and you can't help but say, why today? Why this trip? Wasn't ready for this. The quiet message was, yeah, you are. I just need to keep you humble once in a while. My husband was going to go with me to open Brazil. Remember I told you my story? My girl had been with me for 25 years in the States, and then she got this opportunity to open Brazil. And she said, I can't do this without you here. I said, well, you can, but I'm certainly going to be there for you, with you, and we'll do it together. We went to the Dallas airport to board a plane, my husband and me. She had already gone. And American Airlines, it's a passport and all that stuff. It's like, where's your visa? I said, oh, we don't have to have a visa. I'm sorry, you have to have a visa to go to Brazil. No one at Mary Kay had told me that. Whether it's their job or not doesn't matter. Maybe they didn't even know it. We were so new. But he said, I'm happy to put you on the plane, but when you get down there, they're going to ship you back to us, so this is a waste of time. And I'm dying now. I'm like panicking. This girl has gone. She's waiting for me. She's counting on me. And I said, what am I going to do? I mean, okay, what am I going to do? And he was so helpful. He said, the nearest consulate is in Houston, Dallas. Well, at least it was in New York or something. And he said, if you go down there tomorrow morning, you just get up and go down there tomorrow morning. Go in there. Tell them that you have to have this right away. They won't like it. We do this to them all the time. They won't like it.